Hi, my name's Stewart McIlwham, and I'm a flute and piccolo player with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. I'm also a mentor on our junior artists scheme.
Hi everyone, I'm Rianna Henriquez and I'm a flautist and I'm a London Philharmonic Orchestra Junior Artist alumni. And Stuart was my mentor when I was on the course. Would you say there's anything in the symphony that isn't particularly normal of a traditional symphony? Would you say there's anything that's kind of like a telltale sign that it's Prokofiev rather than Mozart or Haydn?
Some of the harmonies, actually, I mean, they're not
Ah,
they're not they're not dissonant, but
yeah.
they're just a little bit more scrunchy and pseudo romantic. That maybe you wouldn't hear necessarily in Mozart and Haydn, although you occasionally do. Um, and also I think some of the way he writes for the instruments, for example the flute, for example, we're screaming up to top D's, and I mean, Mozart and Haydn would never have written for the flute like that, because the instrument at that time was nowhere near as developed as it is now.
It's almost like a modern take on the old symphony. So it's got the same kind of styles, but you can kind of tell that it's written in a different time, I think. But yeah, I get what you mean. I think there are different figures in different instruments that kind of show what the instrument's capable of, that kind of thing. And I also like the variety that you've got. You've got some kind of flute figures, and then it gets kind of passed around in the woodwind, which I thought was quite nice. Which is also quite Mozartian. He does kind of develop features, and you get repetition and stuff like that. But I think I could almost still tell that it's Prokofiev from some of the stuff. Exactly, like harmonies. They're not dissonant, but they are slightly different to your usual symphony, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I find so engaging about the piece, is that you can enjoy it on quite a few different levels. You can enjoy it from a classical viewpoint, but there's also something in there that's a bit romantic, and that, I mean, I'm a big harmony person. I love all that sort of repertoire where you've got these incredible sort of sort of not dissonances, but sort of scrunchy harmonies where that to me makes a lot of music really, really interesting. Whenever I hear it, it just makes me feel really happy and positive. There's plenty of other pieces of music that don't have the same effect, but it's definitely it's a happy pill, really, in terms of getting a piece of music off the shelf.
One of the first things I was told about this is that Prokofiev wrote this in the countryside, away from the piano. So I think for me, I can kind of see the idea of animals kind of prancing around. Not that he necessarily saw them, but that's something that I get from it. And I think each instrument kind of represents their own animal. So you might have a flute kind of figure that kind of represents a bird, and then maybe some horses prancing in a different instrument. That's the kind of thing I get from it. So, like a very Disney kind of vibe of different animals everywhere.
There isn't a moment of where it, the interest level drops. It's very, very active, as you say. Certainly all this scurrying about. Everybody's really busy all the time. And I mean, the reality is, although it might sound on the surface quite a simple sort of piece of music, it's incredibly difficult to play well. It's an
Yeah.
incredibly virtuosic piece, and it requires every section to be absolutely, completely on their best form, to really pull it off.
I think what's quite cool is that if you listen to it as just an audience member, as you said, listening to it, you just think, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, quite peaceful, just calm, easy on the ear. And then if you actually properly analyze it, you realize that each instrument has something really difficult, and each bit of music kind of is made up of loads of little parts that are completely different. But when put together, it's actually really nice to listen to. So I think that's quite cool that each instrument has their own difficult figure that kind of makes one peaceful piece if you think about it.